It is May 3rd, captive audience, and I'm flying solo tonight. Um, we've got a few things to cover here tonight, and I hope you got your ballot. I received my ballot today, and we'll talk about that as well, covering a little bit of that. But, while Portland is burning and other universities, here we had from Oregon Catalyst is reporting that 15 cop cars were torched, just what the protesters called for. And so on May 1st, Portland State University pro-Hamas, anti-Israel protesters spread flyers on campus calling for the resistance as pro-Hamas terrorists did in Gaza by torching symbols of authority. So they put these flyers out there. And I'm going to put a link to this story in our comments. Hey, yep, got your ballot. All righty, all righty. And so, you don't have to necessarily say words. You can put a flyer out to entice this type of thing. And so it happened that very night to 15 Portland police vehicles. So that was on Wednesday night, or Wednesday, that these flyers were out, and then 15 Portland police vehicles were torched. Is it a mere coincidence? I think unhighly. This flyer was not alone in the call for violence. There were two more Portland State University protest signs seen this week, as documented by Taxpayer Association of Oregon, and one of them has got a fist with a rock in it, and another one appears to be it says Global Antifada, and appears to be like a Molotov cocktail. And yet, so that is promoting more. I did watch as some of the protesters were met by police and carrying looked to be brand new pallets. All this stuff is staged. It's organized, it's staged, it's not organic. It truly, truly is not organic. I do not believe. And so here you have, I'm going to remind you, and in this article it says, we take this tragedy to remind voters that Portland politicians defunded Portland police by $15 million, 100 positions, and at the same time funded a $15 million graffiti-themed skate park to fight crime. Well, I hope that what is happening in Portland will wake up the voters. I don't feel real confident in that. But, Schmidt has already said he wouldn't prosecute anyone. Well, is he up for re-election? And so, Bobby, if you got somebody else's ballot, hang on to it. Don't throw it in the trash. Hang on to it. You can turn it in later and get that returned, get that person off the voter list. And, but then there is a report out of Catholic Vote that says group organizing the Columbia pro-Palestine protest has ties to Hamas. So it certainly makes me think that all of these appear to be organized protests, that they're probably all tied to Hamas. So, gosh, we got kind of have two stories going in at the same time. So Schmidt is up for re-election. Okay, there's a reason not to vote for him. But of course, those radical Democrats that live in Portland are going to go, yay, we want more of that. Let's have more defund the police and more chaos. I can't imagine it, but there are those that's what they like. So what we're seeing across the nation, where and I'm so glad, is very, I do believe, very, very organized. I just posted this story from the Catholic Vote, that about the looks like it's everything is tied with Hamas. And apparently, this group is called Students for Justice in Palestine. And yet, who funds them, right? Who funds them? And they have SJP. And according to the Daily Mail, they have campus groups with more than 250 chapters across the country. Wow. You know, so, and they're getting money from charities with alleged links to Hamas, apparently. And it's so this is not organic. What we're seeing is not organic. It's in time for the summer of love, and kind of what we had seen before with Black Lives Matter and Antifa. This is just, in fact, I would venture to guess, some of these, yes, George Soros definitely is their charity. I would think so too, Bobby. But some of these are the same players. They're just changing uniforms. And I'm glad to see that the police have come in. They've arrested a lot of people. I saw a headline some point today that it's like their arrests are up to like 1,300 people, and there many are not students. And this is the thing. And I said it on Wednesday. Here you have students that are paying tuition to go to university. You've got finals coming, graduations being canceled or rescheduled or moved to somewhere else, all at this time. And each of those students should do a class action suit against the university for violating their rights. They are paying to go to the university, and the university and every president of these universities should resign. Absolutely resign. Yes, distractions again. Absolutely. But you have people, it was the city council that decided to defund Portland. Let's just talk about Portland here. Let's defund the police. And it's just been chaotic ever since. And then when you have the district attorney, Mike Schmidt, in Portland, he's not doing anything to make it better. But we can help to make a difference, even in Portland. And that's by electing a good district attorney for the state of Oregon. We need Attorney General, I should say, Attorney General, and Will Lathrop. He's the only one worth electing. I've got my ballot. I'm looking at it. I've got it over here, and I've already voted for Will Lathrop. I have a few that I'm not decided on, but that's not one of them. The Michael Cross, the crooked Michael Cross, the convicted Michael Cross, is also on the ballot, and he is not at all worth voting for. He is in the number one position, or the top on the ballot, and no way in heck would I ever vote for him. The man is so dishonest. So here you have Portland defunding the police. How much do you think it costs per cop car? I would venture $70,000, $80,000 times 15. Whoop, there goes another $1.5 million in a city that, they don't need to be wasting their money on that. And I hope that they make arrests. Am I going to hold my breath for that? No, I'm not. Not at all. Not at all. I wish they would. I'm glad I don't live in Portland. Hey, I wanted to I have some Good news. Where our stories are going to kind of be mixed a little bit here. Good news today is that the appeals court in Oregon, the Oregon Federal Appeals Court, actually yesterday on Wednesday, I correct myself, they rejected a long-running lawsuit brought by young Oregon-based climate activists who argued that the U.S. government's role in climate change violated their constitutional rights. So the good news is the appeals court rejected the climate change lawsuit and threw it out. So that's the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals. And they had previously ordered the case dismissed in 2020. And, but I guess it wasn't. And so the district judge, Ann Aiken in Eugene, allowed the activists to amend their lawsuit and last year ruled the case could go to trial. So if Judge Ann Aiken in Eugene is up for re-election, don't vote for her. You know, it's so I'm really glad that the Federal Appeals Court deemed that no, they just dismissed this case, says no, it's not going forward. And it's very, very, that's a good thing. That's really a good thing. And we need more of that. We need some more common sense. Yeah, no, Bobby, Michael Cross isn't gone. By God, he's on the ballot. You know, he always runs against good Republicans just to try to throw enough votes away or cause the chaos. That's the way he is. And I would, so let's see, I'm looking at the comments here since we're looking at the ballots a bit. Yeah, Michael Cross. And yes, he does. Yeah, that picture of Michael Cross, that's exactly who he is. Let's see. Anybody know? For me, I would vote for Monique Despain. I know both of them. I think they're both fine women. Amy is what I'm going to say is a perennial candidate. Monique Despain has been endorsed by some Congress members and saying, yes, we need her. And so I would not waste my vote on Amy Ryan Corser. We need Monique Despain to run. She is I believe it's an Air Force veteran, a pilot. She's a smart gal. Not that Amy isn't, but for me, if I would vote for Monique Despain in that case. I don't know who Bill Burgess is, so I can't go on to that one at all, Lori. Can't do that. And if there's, of course, I might mark my ballot for Donald Trump. Boy, there's a lot of people like just going, where is he in the voter pamphlet? Well, it is a shame that he's not in there. And I kind of blame the Oregon Republican Party for making sure that that didn't happen because they should have made sure it did happen. Maybe I didn't say that right the first time, but I just corrected myself. And I do believe that the Oregon Republican Party should have made sure that Trump had a statement in Oregon's voter pamphlet. But you see, we're not in play. We, in my viewpoint, have a weak party, and we're not in play here in Oregon but we, the people, can change it. We can change it. And so, and that's up to us to do. If you're in CD2, which is over half the state, I wouldn't waste a vote. I won't say that. I would vote for Cliff Bentz. That's who I voted for. I'm not changing anything. I've talked about Jason Beebe on here before. And I would vote for Cliff Bentz. He's our best. On my ticket, I've got Brian Boquist for state treasurer, and that's the only one that's on there. And so then there's going to some local stuff. And I live in the 57th district. I'm voting for Raymond Akers. I'm not telling you how to vote. I'm telling you how I voted. Make up your own mind. I think it's time to retire Greg Smith. I'm not a fan, haven't been a fan of him for a long time. And let's see, are we going to have a show about the candidates? In what way? We have interviewed different candidates on here, and I've done one-on-ones with some of the candidates that are running for Senate District 29. We've had a lot, and I know Kevin has as well. So I don't know that we're going to have a show all about the candidates. I would guess not. Ballots are here, and there are Secretary of State. Somebody mentioned here Dennis Linthicum. And yes, Dennis did. And I'll tell you, I know Dennis. I don't know Brent Barker or Tim McLeod. I do know Dennis and his wife. And I think Dennis is an excellent writer. I haven't made my decision. I'm going to tell you that straight up. I haven't made my decision on Secretary of State because I have reservations on Dennis for his lapse of judgment running to be the treasurer for the Oregon Republican Party. And then shortly after, seeing the whole failed regime of the senators that came into the Oregon Republican Party, absolute failed regime that caused a lot of, in my opinion, we lost a lot of forward momentum that I truly think we would have had a Republican governor had that not taken place. That we lost. We had to have 3 elections to elect another vice chair in the state party at a critical year. And our state senators came up with a plan to let's elect a new leadership to our state party. It was an atrocious plan. And so for them, yeah, Kim Thatcher endorsed Dennis. That doesn't do anything for me. For me personally, nothing against Kim Thatcher. It's just for me personally. And I know Dennis's wife is running for his position. And so I think you have to, pick up the phone and contact these people. Contact them. Ask them some hard questions. But I'm just telling you my opinion. Take it or leave it. Doesn't matter to me, in that regard. But I'm telling you just some of my thought processes and my opinion, because Dennis Linthicum, I know he walked out. I think he's a nice guy. But and we all do make mistakes. I haven't heard a statement from him of, you know what, I wish I had never fallen for that crap with Dallas Hurd and Herman Bartscheiger. Those guys are not, in my viewpoint, they are not looking out for the best interest of Oregon. And I don't care if you don't like hearing that from me. That's my opinion, and it's what I believe. And they are not looking out for the best interest of Oregon. They were looking out for themselves, and let's get rid of the leadership that we had at the Oregon Republican Party. And where have we gone from here? My viewpoint is straight downhill. Straight downhill. You don't hear from the chairman that he's out fighting and issuing great statements against some of the crap that's going on where we should have. We don't have a good press person, spokesperson. Anyway, Yeah, that's things are sad, but it takes people being involved and also willing to speak up to turn things around. I don't know about Daniel Bethel, don't know who that is at all. So I can't help on that one. So, okay, I'm gonna go on, move on a little bit. So in talking, so I thought that was a good deal with the appeals court rejecting the climate change lawsuit. We had another case that the Oregon Supreme Court pretty much screwed the counties. They screwed Oregon or Umatilla County for sure, but this will affect every county in our state. And the Oregon Supreme Court ruled in favor of the Energy Facility Siting Council, which is a state regulation on energy projects, that they can overrule local laws. So we have the Oregon Developmental Code, okay, land use codes, and every county has it's in code, and I can't cite that number off the top of my head. I'm sorry that I don't have that for you right now. But they in our statutes it says that the counties can create codes that are more stringent than the state, but not less stringent. And so Umatilla County, the county that I live in, stated they made a 2-mile setback on wind turbines, and that has been upheld locally. Okay, we have a few wind projects that have come through that have not been cited by the Energy Facility Siting Council, and now a project, it's called Nolan Hills, hasn't been built yet. This is in the siting process and the approval process. We were basically asking for this project to change, I believe it was 6 turbines to comply. The county said we would like this project to comply with our 2-mile setback. And the 2 miles is from residences, urban growth boundaries, highly erodible soils, streams, creeks that have endangered fish in it. So it was that. And it went to the Supreme Court. It got appealed and went right to the Supreme Court. And the Supreme Court said, screw you, Umatilla County. This agency, the Energy Facility Siting Council, has more rights than you. That's in a nutshell. Okay, that's not verbatim. That's me paraphrasing. It's in a nutshell. And it really is a shame. And this will affect all of the counties in the state of Oregon. So it's too bad. It's too bad, that the Supreme Court of Oregon is putting an agency over local land use. So will the legislators fix it? I doubt it, because they do have that ability. Will this get appealed to a higher court? We'll see. I don't know if it's appealable. We'll see. We'll see what comes of that. But it's really sad. I really, really believe that is it's sad for the state of Oregon, and that the Supreme Court is not going to follow the rules that our legislators put in. The legislators write what is that we're supposed to follow. And we are a nation of law and order, a nation of laws. And if you don't like them, then you get them changed. And the Oregon Supreme Court has overrode a county saying, no, this Energy Facility Siting Council, you can just cite it wherever you want. So now it's Katie bar the doors for wherever they want to put anything, and they don't have to follow local ordinances. It's a bad day, bad day. More bad days for Oregon, let me tell you. But we have some good news, not in Oregon, but we have some good news from the Catholic vote that the National Health Service in England is going to crack down on the gender ideology. And what that tells me, they said they're going to return to common sense. And so this is England's National Health Service has proposed changes to its constitution that mark a landmark move against gender ideology following the release of a report that denounced treating children with puberty blockers and cross-sex hormones. And this is really good because, I think these other countries have been ahead of us on this gender scheme, and they're now seeing the repercussions over in Europe of all of this, and they're now rejecting it. Many more are rejecting it. So I believe we will end up rejecting it as well. It's going to take a little while, but we have two genders. You can pretend to be whatever you want as an adult, but leave the kids alone. And because it does irreparable harm to children. Irreparable harm to children. So yeah, we got to start somewhere. You're exactly right, Lori. And so I was really happy to hear this. The reality, it says, I quote, the reality is that we have no good evidence on the long-term outcomes of interventions to manage gender-related stress. No, you know what? They're kids. They got to grow up. Their brains aren't mature. They can't pick a gender. They can't even, there was one study they put I think Donna and I talked about it. They put a bunch of Oreos in front of a little kid, and they put $10,000. Which one do you want? Yeah, the kid wants the Oreos, of course. They don't have the life experience to make those changes or the mental capacity. Something, we talk about January 6th here on Captive Audience quite a bit, and that's how Captive Audience was. Well, it wasn't started through January 6th, but through other things, the whole lockdown. And there has been this story I ran across in the Epoch Times, has to do with the feds are charging a former government employee with falsely implicating co-workers on January 6th Capitol breach. And none of the 7 government employees and contractors were in DC on January 6th. So this guy, who is no longer a government employee from what I've read, and that's a good thing, he was arrested yesterday in Chantilly, Virginia, on charges of these are federal charges, of making false statements to law enforcement. And he had emailed these complaints in using like burner emails from different IP addresses, trying to really do a ruse of false tips. And he's been busted, and I'm glad he's been busted. But at the same time, it's from reading this article, I gleaned that there is an army of people that are just searching through all of these videos that have been released and trying to help identify all these people for the FBI. And that just makes me think of Nazi Germany. That's what it makes me think of. And yes, you're right, Lori. You are absolutely right. We have not heard everything on the Jan 6 setup yet at all, at all. And so, yes, vote for your PCP, whoever is on your ballot, and don't mail it. Put it in a drop box. Do not mail your ballot. Put it in a drop box. So I just thought I would bring that up. There is another, I've got two other things here I wanted to go into. There is, there's a lot of talk about Title IX, and Biden has said, basically written something that's going to just do away with Title IX, although that all hasn't come out yet. And so now the fourth state is defying Title IX. And, who do you think that would be? Well, I'll tell you who it is. It's Arkansas. It's Arkansas. It is Governor Sarah Huckabee Sanders. And she announced yesterday that Arkansas would not comply with Joe Biden's changes to Title IX affecting transgender students. And so Arkansas joins Texas, Oklahoma, and Florida. Don't hold your breath for Oregon. No, 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 no. Unfortunately, so there we have four states that will defy the new rules, and kudos to them. As all of this, transgender in the sport started, I went, you know what? They need to have all the transgenders have to have their own separate sports. We can have boys and girls and theirs. We can have men and women and trans. Doesn't matter. But they are working so hard to destroy women's sports, which is why Title IX was written to protect women's sports. And, yeah, men, women, and confused. I don't care what you call them, but they need their own sports, because truly it has failed when you've got, the best athlete in, name it, just about now anywhere, and it's a man. I don't care what you call it, it's a man. And I really respect the women athletes that are standing up for women's sports, and the men athletes that are standing up as well. But so kudos to Arkansas and Sarah Huckabee Sanders for joining those other states. Lastly, I wanted to talk about, and I don't know if you've heard about this, O'Keefe Media Group. So how many follow O'Keefe Media Group? Let's see. And I do. Yes, pushing back is our only way out. Absolutely. Calling it out and pushing back, and kids not participating, parents standing up to it. And it's so sad. I watched a video of a father saying, you know what, my daughter runs track. She's got, a whole bunch of medals, and she's not going to run anymore. And it breaks my heart, because she's not going to compete against a boy. And very good. So yes, on Truth Social. So O'Keefe Media Group, if you have not seen their latest expose that exposes an alleged CIA plot against Trump. This is huge. This is huge. And there's an undercover reporter who gave video to O'Keefe Media Group. And this this video is showing purported to be a project manager for cyber operations at the CIA. And actually, the CIA the next day issued a statement saying that person no longer works there. I read that statement online. But it's not what this person, we need to hear what these undercover videos. I love it. They're taking him on dates, give him a little wine and wine and dine and getting things, but to have the possibility of high-level intelligence community executives. Could it be former Secretary of State Mike Pompeo, former CIA Director Gina Haspel? I don't know. But that's what it's purported, that these people and others withheld information from former President Donald Trump throughout his administration. This is astronomical. And I will tell you that this is just bombshell undercover footage to watch. So in the link that I posted, as long as it stays up, it is, you can watch the video that is in there. And this was a concerted effort. It's appearing like it's a concerted effort by the intelligence agencies to withhold information from the President of the United States. In my mind, this is treason. In my mind. And our intelligence agencies should be, no matter who's president, should be doing the best for our nation, not for the agency. But that is not what we're seeing, unfortunately. That is not what we're seeing. And it certainly makes me mad. But I'm very glad that Rep. Matt Gaetz said he formally called on the Weaponization Subcommittee to immediately launch an investigation into O'Keefe Media Group's this report containing video evidence that American intelligence agencies withheld intelligence from President Trump before and during his presidency. And it's a bombshell. We have to take back the White House. We have to clean house in the agencies. And I applaud O'Keefe Media Group for what they're doing. We need to donate to him. He's going to be attacked. And we need to support and back him up. And more is coming out about the corruption in our own government, how we really are like a banana republic. This is stuff that you heard about in other countries, third world countries, not in America. But I think what it is we're all waking up to the reality of things that were called out even 50 years ago when I was just a kid, called out by former presidents and saying, be careful of the, these agencies. And so, yes, I think we kind of blithely go along and not pay attention. And we have to pay attention. We have to be engaged. We have to be active. And that, that's the type of thing, being active, realizing I didn't like where my country's going is what got me involved in to be a precinct committee person. And I am the chair for Umatilla County Republicans. And here in the state of Oregon, trying to fight for our state of Oregon, fighting for the community, fighting for the county, to make things better, because we all have to sweep our side of the sidewalk to make it better, make the whole big picture better, right? It all starts right here at home and then goes up. So, yeah, it is, Lori. It's difficult to admit we were fooled, but we can correct it. And this is where people that are retired, I'm pretty much retired. You wouldn't know it by everything I'm involved in, but I am. The people, when you are busy raising your family and working, you're just trying to keep your head above water and let the kids be kids and going to their sporting events and their activities. And that is healthy for a family. So people that are a little older are the ones that need to be involved. Maybe they have the time more. And I'm not discounting young people by any means, but many people say, "Oh, well, where's all the young people?" You know what? They're busy. They're busy trying to make a living and raise their kids and let the kids be kids because they need that too. I think so. But anybody can get involved and help fight for our cities, counties, state, and nation. We can. And we can help affect change um, all over. We can dial for candidates that don't live where you are. We can donate to candidates $5, $10, whatever you could spare to candidates to help them with those mailers and and reaching voters, or being involved in a phone banking. So, well, thank you very much, Lori. And sharing information. And this is why I continue to do captive audience. For me, it's 2 days a week. And yes, I miss David very much. And I was hoping to be able to have somebody on today, but it just didn't work out for me and my own schedule. So, but this is what we have to do, right? There's a lot of podcasts out there. There's a lot of people to watch and listen to, but share the message. I'm here and wanting to speak truth and bring things to light that you might not know about, that we can help be the change, affect the change that we want to see in our areas. So I hope everybody to have a great weekend. Share the message. Share captive audience with your family, friends, and neighbors, and don't mail the ballot in. Educate yourself on things that you don't know about. Talk to people that you respect their opinion on, and see how to vote. And if you don't know, you can leave it blank. It's okay. It's okay. And if there's any tax increases, vote them down. Vote them down. Okay? Got to say that. All right, you guys, share the message. Have a wonderful weekend.